Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of Building Gotham City in Lego. In the last update, I worked on the roof section of Arkham Asylum here. I'm really happy with how it's coming on. I haven't placed the order to get the remaining parts just yet, as I do need to work out exactly what I need and how many of each piece I need. I haven't calculated yet how many more of these fence elements that I'm going to require. And also I need to make sure that I am 100% happy with the fence before I get enough to cover this entire perimeter of the island. Now, I did have a load of them come in the last update, so I am going to be working on the fence section in this update, as well as the entrance to Arkham. As it's been mentioned before, it doesn't look right seeing Arkham spelled backwards when you're standing from this side, so I do want to get that all sorted out and corrected. So that's what we're going to be working on, this front section here. Try and get it looking how it's going to be once it's all finished. So without further ado, let's get the bricks out, let's get the plates out, and let's get started. And I thought it was about time we made a vehicle for transporting the patients and inmates to Arkham Asylum. And I really like the vehicle you get in set 10937, the Arkham Asylum Breakout from 2012. I thought that vehicle looked fantastic. So I've sourced the pieces for that out of my collection. There's only a couple of pieces that are in the wrong colour, so hopefully it's still going to look good. We haven't got the stickers, so that is a downside. But I thought what I would do, I'd start off by making that vehicle. And then I was hoping that it's going to give me the inspiration to make my own transport for Arkham. And here we have the Arkham Asylum Transport, and I wish they would do this sort of thing as a standalone set. Have an Arkham vehicle without having to buy Arkham Asylum. That'd be so good. But yeah, here it is, and the size of it is absolutely perfect. Just the sort of thing that I'm after for my Gotham City. I don't want the vehicles to be too big, and this one proportionally looks really, really good. Now, I didn't have all the pieces in the correct colour. The bonnet should be white, and this section here should be dark bluish grey as opposed to the light bluish grey. But all in all, yeah, really happy with this. Now, what I want to do is try and convert this into something that's unique to my Gotham City and my Arkham Asylum. So let's get the thinking cap on and see what we can come up with. And here we have our ever so slightly modified Arkham Asylum Transport, and there's very little differences to this. The build, I was just so pleased with it that I didn't see the necessity of changing too much to it. The bottom part here was in light bluish grey, and I've changed it over to white. I didn't have any of the L-shaped panels in white, so I've used a 1x2 plate and then a double cheese wedge there, and that's worked perfectly. But whereas this arch used to go all the way back, I've made it go straight into the window there, as I didn't like the way the window overhung above that part just there. The only other change I've made is the indicator lights. Just there was a circular piece, and I've now made it a square, again, just to tidy it up. But the good thing is I managed to find a white bonnet out. I thought I had one, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, really love this vehicle, so I'm going to leave this as it is. Now we've got this all built up, we now know how big the parking bay needs to be for when they drop off the inmates. And there we have the transport outside of Arkham Island, and loving the style of it. I think it looks so good in front of the building. Lego did a really good job of creating that Transport. It really is good, and I really like the modifications that I've made to it. I know they're only very subtle ones, but I just think it looks a little bit tidier, especially where the windscreen connects to the body at the front, where it just was hanging over the arches. It didn't look quite right in my opinion, so I'm much happier with this style. The problem I have at the moment is the area in front of the asylum where the van is at the moment is not quite big enough. There's not really enough room for it to turn around to drop the inmates off, the patients off. So I need to work out a way of making that area bigger. Now, I'm not going to move the asylum. That is staying exactly where it is. There'd be too much work involved for me to amend it, and I don't want to. So we're going to have to find another compromise with that. We've got obviously this area at the front where we've got all the plants. I could possibly come over the rockwork there a little bit more. That's a possibility. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a think about it. I think the best thing for me to do would be to take these two sections of rockwork over to my table and work on them there. And I'm really glad that I've made the transport there as well, because it's also going to help me with the entrance to Arkham Island, where the Arkham sign is. I want to put an archway where the Arkham sign is, and I needed to know how high it needed to be for the vehicle to clear through that. This is the tallest vehicle that will be coming onto Arkham Island. So now we've got that worked out, we can now get that arch all sorted. So let's take these two sections of rockwork over to the table and see what we can come up with. And that's the asylum removed from the top of the island, and we've moved one section over to the table. And there were some 2x8 plates connecting these two together, which I hadn't realised I'd done. It doesn't matter, very easy to take apart, and it does help to keep everything in place. So I am going to keep that as the technique that I use on there. It's all good. The pillar on here is right on the join line, so that's actually keeping those two clipped together. And there is a plate underneath it as well, which is joining them. So I need to modify that. I am going to be bringing the bridge over by probably about 4 or 5 studs, I think. Possibly 4, I think is probably about the right amount. So again, that is something I just need to bear in mind. I need to find a way of having the archway where it's very easy to remove it from the mock for when I take this to a convention. So anyway, let's take this section over to the table and then we can start solving all these little problems. And I've ended up bringing over 2/3 of the islands to the table here, and it's a lot easier to work on it on this table. And with this part just here, I've lowered that arc plate there by 1 brick. That's going to enable me to extend the car park area or the road over that a little bit further. And I've built the rockwork out here, so we've got a nice overhang on there now. I was really happy with how that's come out. And now I can just start working on the actual road, the car park, and also the entrance, the gates on there. As I mentioned before, they are going to be spanning over 2 separate mills plates on there. So let's carry on doing the mapping out of the actual car park area. Then once I've done that, I'll start working on the outer walls. And here we have the car park area increased in size, and a lot happier with this. It's looking a lot better. Bringing this out here, although this looks very square on the corner, it's only the top part that looks square. When you're looking from lower down from the side with the overhang, it really does, I think, look really good. So I'm happy with that. Now I've just split the base plates apart here just so you can see the gap there. I have just built or started building the pillars into both sides of the walls there, but I thought, oh, it's got to be removable. So what I'm going to do is just tile off these areas and then put a couple of jumper plates so the arch can just sit on top of those. But one other thing I want to do is put one of the wireless connectors here and have the wire going through under the road there, and then that'll help me to put a light above the Arkham sign. Now, as you can see from here, we have gone for a reddish brown wall, and that's following on from a comment in a previous video. Somebody suggested it, I had a look at it and I thought, do you know what, great idea, so let's go for that. But the one thing I think I will do is remove the very bottom row of reddish brown bricks and replace them with dark bluish grey. I think that it will look a lot better, and it'll be in the same style then as the main building itself. So let's carry on making all of those amendments to the build, and then I'll check back in once we made a little bit more progress. And we're just starting to do the lamp post just here. And when I first started doing Gotham, I didn't intend on putting that many lights in, but now I am, and I'm just loving every second of it. So with the lamp here, this is the same technique as I've done before. So the light goes through the disc just here, through these rounded snot bricks, through the Technic connector, and then all the way down. Then on the bottom, I've used these 2x1 bricks, which have got the groove in them. That way, this wire is not being pinched at all throughout the entire lamppost. And then when it comes to the island here, I've left a little bit of a groove down the bottom here. So this grill plate is going to be going on top of that. I'll put the wire through one of the holes there and then bring it back out and then along there. The good thing with doing it this way, again, is the wire is going to be totally hidden. So it's really going to be a nice, tidy look on there. So let's get this all put into place, build the wall back up, and then fingers crossed it's going to look good once it's all finished. And here we have the latest attempt at the gate or the entrance to Arkham Asylum. Now I've put this Technic brick in here, and that's so I can clip the bridge onto it. So it's all modular and it's got the support that it's going to need. We have got the Arkham sign here. I've just started to do that, and I've had enough of trying to get the clip pieces to stay to the flexi tube. It's just not working. They're so awkward. Somebody did suggest using minifigure hands, which I did do. I even tried attaching the candle to the minifig hand, and the minifig hands are too small, and this part here is too small for that bit there, so it doesn't clip together. It's just resting in there. So I think I'm going to try and go over to a brick built sign next. If that doesn't work, then I'll get some either printed tiles or get some stickers in. But yeah, it's really annoying that we can't get this to work. It's not looking how I want it to look as well, which is one of the most important things. It needs to look right. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get my black pieces out and do the fence to how I hope to do it once I get all of the parts in. And here we have our latest attempt at the archway going into Arkham Asylum, as well as the brick wall with the fence along the top of it. And I think reddish brown does work quite well. Now, I was wondering whether to experiment with doing it in the light bluish grey again. However, when I look over at that side and see the light bluish grey compared to this looks so much more gloomier and depressing that I think I am going to stick with that. Now, with the arch here, again, I'm just wondering, do I want to change that over to reddish brown as well, or leave it as the dark bluish grey? Being dark bluish grey is the same colour as the road, it's the same colour as the rockwork, so I'm not sure on that. The only thing is I don't own these arches. I don't even know if they do them in reddish brown, so yeah, we just need to decide upon that. But what I think I'm going to do now, I've made a whole load more of the fence bits up just here. So I want to do the section round the side just there, and if I've got enough left over I will do a few along here as well. But I just want to have a little bit of a play with writing Arkham using Lego pieces. It would be nice to have something up there, even if it's just temporary until I get some printed pieces or get some stickers or whatever else. But when I look at the view from here, I do think that Arkham is really starting to come together when you have the fence around it and the gate entrance as well. So let's get those pieces out and let's start experimenting with our sign writing. I think I've come up with some sign writing that I'm really happy with, and it's just been a great time experimenting with this. There are little flaws in it, like the bit of the A here goes a little bit above the cheese wedge on there, but all in all, yeah, really pleased with how this has come out. Just connecting all of the pieces to the back and finding ways of connecting them together just so we can write that word Arkham. There's some pieces in here at the moment they're kept together by gravity, and I just need now to transfer this over to the actual Arkham gate and then build around it. Then hopefully everything will clip together exactly how it needs to be. So let's do that and see if it works. And it has taken me all day to get this Arkham sign sorted, and I'm glad I've spent the time on it. So happy with how it has come out. It could be a little bit better if we didn't have that little bit above on the two A's there, but that's just being ultra critical on there. When you're writing using Lego pieces like this, it's very, very difficult to get it looking perfect. So yeah, you just have to accept what you can come up with due to the shapes of the bricks. But yeah, all in all, really happy with that. Now, the one problem I've got at the moment is the light just here. The plug is plugged in just in this pillar just here, and then it's just resting behind the lettering just inside the channel here, and then it just pops up as you can see there. Now, I wouldn't be able to do a light fitting such as this above the actual sign unless I take the wire out, put the plug through all of the pieces and then fit it back down into the column. So yeah, I just need to work out what I want to do. If needs be, I will take it apart and put it in. It will only take me a couple of minutes to do so, but I just need to try and work out what I'm going to do with that. So let's have a good think about it, and I'll check back in once we've got this all finished up. And we've added a few more details around the Arkham sign, and loving how this has come out. It's so satisfying seeing that done. I think it looks a lot better than the previous Arkham sign. And as you can see, I've also done a little bit more of the wall and fence along the side just here. I need to order in so many parts to get that all finished. Got to work out what I'm going to do on the end here and here. We've got the gaps there, so I just need to find some design for that. But it would have been nice to have got this section back here all sorted. However, I've run out of brown bricks, and yeah, we need to get some more of those in. Hopefully there'll be some on the pick brick wall. There were some 1x6s on there previously, but I need other ones as well, like 1x1s, 1x2s and 1x3s. I actually needed to steal some 1x1s off of the platform down the bottom there just so I could finish this section of wall over here. So yeah, plenty of pieces we need to get in. At one stage I was considering doing away with the brown brickwork at the bottom of the wall and going over to the light bluish grey. However, it's looking so gloomy. It's exactly what I was after. So yeah, that's going to be staying as it is. But yeah, loving every second of this build, and just can't wait to order all the parts in just so I can get this all finished and looking how I want it to look. Now what I'm going to do is tile off this section here, so I just need to find some plates to go in these two holes here. Now one thing I am considering at the moment is where to put some guard towers to keep an eye out over Arkham Asylum, and I was contemplating putting a bit of rockwork out here, have the guard tower, and then there'll be a walkway that goes over to this part of the actual building itself. I thought that might look pretty good. Another thing I was wondering about was on the lighthouse, whether or not to put a platform part way up, and then that's where the guards are looking. So you've got the lighthouse on the very top and a guard tower part way up. So yeah, just something I'm considering at the moment. So let's get all the trans bits out and let's get this part all finished off. And there we have the water all done on these two sides of the island, and it's so satisfying when you cover up all of the base plates and the black and blue plates below, just to give it that wave effect on there. So really happy with how that has all come out. It's such a shame that we've run out of the pieces that we need to get more done of the fencing area, but at least I can calculate now what I need to get, and then I can add that to the order for the rest of the roof pieces, which I still have yet to do. And we've had a parcel come in from Game of Bricks, and a massive thank you once again to Game of Bricks, who provide the lights for my Gotham City build, or for my mock should I say, and it is really appreciated. And I'll leave a link to their website in the description of the video, and remember, if you use the code Dubbzi, you will get 25% off of your order. And the first thing we got here are some traffic lights. I'm really excited to try these out. Got the red, amber and green in here, and then we've got this little board. So I haven't used these before. I did actually get some of these in my previous order and I didn't realise, so I have ordered a load more of these, as these are things I want to start adding to Gotham City in the very near future. So we've got a couple of those there. In this pack here we have got some connector cables 30 centimeters long. We've then got some of the wireless connector boards, which we get through so many of these, and these are absolutely fantastic. My favorite products, I think. Maybe she'd have the lights going from floor to floor without connecting them. And in this one, we've got some extension boards, two long ones, and we've then got some 30 centimeters warm white lights. Some more traffic lights. We have got some more 15 centimeters warm lights. In here we've got some 15 centimeter connector cables, and in this one we've got some 50 centimeter connector cables. So yeah, thanks once again to Game of Bricks for sending them over. Really do appreciate it. Anyway, that's all we have time for. I hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you can share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.